Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Crash City. This week, we actually have a very special guest. As of this recording, as of what we're recording right now, we actually have the NFL draft going on day three. So,
hmm
uh, we have no idea right now what either team that we care about are drafting, what is going on. So, it'll be cool when this comes after. But I am here with Terrell Burgess. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hello, man. This is actually really cool. Like I said, you're my first big NFL interview. This is awesome, man. I've gotten to interview LaRon McCoy, who is now a sports agent, but I've never had been able to talk to anybody who is actively currently playing and
hmm
playing for a team that is seeking a rebuild. You play for the New Orleans Saints, don't you?
Yes, sir. That's
All right.
correct.
All right. So you actually, I feel bad for you. You actually got your draft night as of, like I said, this is draft day. You actually had yours during the pandemic. How did that feel?
Uh, actually, I feel like for me, it was actually pretty cool because, I didn't get invited to go. I wasn't gonna go in the first round. I didn't get invited to go to. I don't even remember where the draft was our year, but it's pretty cool because usually only like the first round and then a few picks in the second round are usually announced by Roger Goodell, the commissioner. But that year, I think he did majority of the picks.
Mhm.
So when my name was called, he did do my pick on TV. So that was actually pretty cool. I was watching the video from my draft night the other day or yesterday. Actually, it's actually just crazy that it's been what 6 years now to the day yesterday that I was drafted, and I don't know, it's just a great experience, and I just hope that a lot more people are able to go through it.
Yeah. So for someone like me who doesn't play football, has never gotten to see uh, play in an arena full of people, get to see the main stage. One thing I want to
hmm
ask is when you were going into your rookie year, you got picked up by the Rams. The Rams
Yes,
were
sir.
hot. They were on fire. You're going up against a young Joe Burrow by then. You know, everything is crazy, and you got to play in the playoff games leading up to the Super Bowl. Was there any point in your mind for your career, like whatever, if we win, I'm essentially playing with house money for the rest of my career? Like, was it anything like that?
Majority of people play this game to win. Like there's definitely people that play the game for the money to provide for their families and stuff, but majority of people compete because they like to win. Like you hate losing more than you love winning. And I think for the rest of my career I will always want to achieve, the highest, I guess you could say, the great honor of winning the Super Bowl again. However, like I remember after we had won the Super Bowl my second year in the league, we were in the locker room talking about, dang, like we're gonna be chasing this feeling for the rest of our careers, but at least we know what it feels like. So a little bit of house money, but a little bit of, still striving to get there with whatever season that comes, and whatever chance you get to continue to play and do what you can to help a team win the Super Bowl.
Okay, so especially for your team now, because you've gotten to play for a few different teams
hmm
throughout your career already. So you've had what I would say respectfully four teams. You spent one season on IR with the Bills. So
hmm
what is that like? Spending a whole season with a team on IR. How does that feel? What goes through you mentally? You know,
Oof. So
what's that?
I was actually only there like that. So I was there during training camp, and then I was there, I guess, technically on the team for a couple weeks during the season. But so I was pretty much at home most of that year. I was on IR at the beginning of the year, and then at a certain point in the season, for a lot of people, like if guys, because I don't know, with it depending on your situation, if guys aren't getting hurt on respective teams, like there's not really a place for people to go. So I was at home, and like I think on the mental, it definitely takes a toll on people because from the outside looking in, I would say that a majority of people look at the NFL like it's just all glitz and glam, and you should be grateful you're playing in the NFL. And I will forever know that it's a blessing and it's a privilege to be able to play in the NFL. It's obvious. I'm very grateful that I've been given the opportunity to play. Um, However, I would definitely say that outside looking in, a lot of people look at it like everything's always sunshine and rainbows, and they don't
Hmm.
look at situations like that. They don't look at that there's guys that get hurt and they're out a whole year, or guys have to, guys even go to the CFL or they go and play in the UFL for a year to try and make it back into the NFL. So, and then moving across the country when you either get cut or get traded and within 24 hours, and things like that. So I think that year sitting out, I wouldn't say it humbled me because I feel like I've done my best in being a humble athlete, a humble human being. Um, but I would say it definitely it challenged me, but I think I found a way to come back on the right side of it, on the other side of it, and I'm blessed to be able to play for the New Orleans Saints now. They gave me an opportunity last year, and I just doing my chance to doing what I can to run with it.
So, how does that feel too? Especially, like I said, I was able to talk to LaShawn McCoy's brother, Laurent McCoy, who played for the league for
Mhm.
a little bit and now is a sports agent. And I got to learn his role when he's covering an athlete who then has
Mhm.
to leave, has to move on a moment's notice. For you, what was the move like? What has what does that feel like when you're going from team to team, city to city? How does that feel mentally? What is your biggest stressor from there? Like what everything, especially with your family?
I think so. Here, well, I'll say this because the first time I left somewhere, I'm from San Diego, California. So being in LA playing for the Rams, my family was driving up to every home game. So to going from seeing my family at every home game to I went to the Giants and I was paying both rent in California and rent in New Jersey. So that's a
Yeah.
stressor in itself because that's a lot of money, regardless of however much money people want to say that people make. That's one thing. And then going to having home games in other cities where your family isn't there. And I feel like as much as people wouldn't like to say that, people want their family to see them play. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And yes, my family could see me play on TV and stuff like that, and they can watch the games. But it's different when you get a chance to see them in the stands because I feel like a little kid a little kid in you comes out, and you're like, dang, like I really grew up wanting to do this, and now I'm able to see my family watch me play in the stands. So that was a big thing, that paying rent in two different places, and then just the toll of like being on one team one day and then 24 hours later you're leaving the next day and you're all the way across the country. So I think it's an experience that I wouldn't change for the world, but I think that that's definitely something that the average person isn't thinking about when they are watching NFL games and seeing guys go from team to team and things like that.
You're absolutely right. My partner, she's barely getting into football. So
Mhm.
we've started watching Hard Knocks so I could kind of show her like the life of players, and the way that you guys get pulled in, and you're told like, hey, either we're trading you, we're releasing you, or whatever.
Mhm.
uh it affected her in a weird way where she was like, "Oh, I forget, these guys are people." And I was like, "Well, yeah, they're people. We love what they
Mhm.
do. We enjoy what they do. We miss what they do, especially right now." But for you guys, when does it hit that you guys have finally made it in the NFL?
Um, I think this would be a different answer for everybody. But I don't know if it'll ever like really hit. I think for the first 3, 4 years I was in the league, I was like, dang, like this is crazy that we're playing in the NFL. And even last season playing, like during some of the games, I was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like we're really playing in the NFL. And then a couple days ago, we were at workouts and one of my teammates was like, this is crazy. Like this is like we're really in the NFL. And I think so for some people, it's like you go through the first season and then you don't think about it at all. And then for some people, they think about it all the time. So I think it's different for everybody, but I think I think it hit me a couple years ago, and I think it hits me sometimes when you like have conversations with people. And I think I was talking to my girlfriend about this recently that one thing that someone told me when I was in high school was to never turn a kid down for a picture.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes nowadays you get into situations when you're playing golf or you're somewhere where the conversation can come up that you're playing in the NFL. And I've realized that it's not normal for people to just know someone personally that has played or is playing currently or things like that. So I would never turn somebody down for an interview or a conversation because I think that it's just an experience in itself for me and for them as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like this moment right now, I'm having a great time. But when you were growing up, man, when did you finally it kind of switched in your brain like I could go all the way with this. I could actually do this. What was the moment, man?
Someone asked me this when we were training a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I'll be honest. I didn't really like football too much growing up. I was definitely I liked basketball a lot more. But then in high school, I realized that I wasn't going to be taller than 6 foot, so I kind of had to make a business decision and make the switch to stop playing basketball and focus a little bit more on football. So maybe the end of my sophomore year in high school is where I was like, dang, I want to go try and play college football. And then maybe like my second year in college is where I really realized like, okay, like I really think I can, make it to the NFL and do what I can do and, provide for my family and things like that. So yeah, I would say once I got to college is when I was like, okay, yeah, this is really a big possibility that this can happen.
How are you guys feeling though? Especially this off season. How are you guys feeling? How you're coming up on what, year 6, year 7,
7.
year 7?
Mhm.
How you feeling, man? Like you've gotten to reach the mountaintop. Now you're on a
Mhm.
team that is chasing in a division where every year we have no idea. Every that division, everybody has an equal opportunity at doing amazing things. How are you
Mhm.
guys feeling though?
I think we're feeling pretty good. We just finished our first week of off-season workouts. So I think we started off great start, great week to it. A lot of competing this week in the weight room, and so I'm excited for this season. I think we're gonna do better than we did last season. I know last season for a lot of Saints fans, it didn't we weren't really happy, but and for the players and the organization, we weren't really happy with the way it ended up. But we ended the season on somewhat of a high note, and I think it's going to translate over into this next season, and we're going to do pretty well.
How's the fan base, especially with the the charity work that you do? How do
Hmm.
you interact with the fans, or go about when you actually have to be out there, or when you're doing a charity event or something? How is the Saints fans?
I think the Saints fans are amazing. I think anytime I've interacted with any fans here, they love the Saints here, and I think that's what you yearn for. You yearn for seeing. I don't want to say the fruits of your labor, but you see how much people appreciate what you do and what you work so hard for and things like that. So yeah, the Saints fans here are amazing. They love the team. They love the city, and I think that's what there's so much culture here, and I think that's what a lot of players love when in playing in any city, but definitely playing here in New Orleans. Like the fans are amazing, and it's a great place to play. The Superdome is amazing, and things like that.
I want to
The
ask
Caesar Superdome, yeah.
about your charity work, man. Like how much you
Mhm.
do. I've seen pictures of you, working with children, doing as much as you can. Let's get into that because a lot of
Mhm.
people, at least I've met, that already don't like football think that you guys are disingenuous about it, and it's so
Mhm.
wrong at how much you guys actually do care and how grateful you guys are. Let's talk about your charity work, man.
I would say, and like obviously, yes, I'm an athlete, a human being, but I feel like I've always considered myself somebody that likes to help others and a humanitarian, so to speak. So I would say I've always enjoyed it. I think in middle school, my family and I and some of my friends at my middle school, we started going to this thing in San Diego called Shooting Stars, where we would play basketball with special needs kids, and that was kind of like the first like that was kind of like that's what started my trajectory of doing community work, doing community service and things like that. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for people in the special needs community. So I feel like any city, any team I've played for, I've done my best to try and either donate my monetary value or my time to doing something within the special needs community. And then out here in New Orleans, I've worked with, or actually the team has worked with, and I've worked with personally. There's an organization called the 18th Ward where they pretty much they have like I don't want to say like a safe space, but also like it's like a community out group for like kids in the community to like I don't know. It just helps the community with kids and things like that. And I've worked with them. But yeah, I think I've always considered myself a humanitarian. So anything I can do to help outside of football on like the off days or in the off season, I do my best to make sure I spend time doing that.
You go to a lot of Pelicans games? You go interact with the fans a lot?
I've actually haven't been to a Pelicans game since I've been here
Really?
because their season started what towards the end of last season, and I don't know. Yeah, I didn't go to a Pelicans game while I was here at all. Actually, this season that was bad. I'm gonna definitely try and make one this next season.
Fair enough, man. Like what do you do? Like have you been on any Bayou tours? What how have you explored New Orleans and just the
Oof.
fan base that you've gotten to be a part of and what seems to really like you?
I've been to a bunch of different restaurants downtown last season. Here as a defense, every other week, I think it was every other week, we went to like a new restaurant in New Orleans or a different restaurant in New Orleans. So that was a chance for us to get out and let's I don't want to say associate, but like interact with fans, but also, have try some good food in the city. I'm a homebody, but I definitely got a chance to get out a few times and meet different people and things like that. But this year, being here for a full off season, I'm gonna definitely get a chance to go out a little bit more and meet some new people and get out in the community and see what I can do to only help and just meet more people in the city because I feel like being here, why not give back to a city that's giving to you and supporting you and the team you play for?
Fair enough. I have to ask for a veteran who has just re-signed with a team, do you keep
Hmm.
your eye on the draft or are you just waiting to see who shows up for um, training camp when it comes down to it?
um, I'd say it's just kind of funny because I was talking about this with one of my old teammates the other day because I feel like I haven't really watched the draft in like a few years, but I think the first day of the draft is always one that people tune into because you want to see, what I'm saying, who the first pick is of the draft, or you want to see the first few picks. And I feel like now being out of college for so long and not like I'm always going to support Utah, the school I went to, and support
Mhm.
the kids that come out of Utah and get drafted and things like that. But I think a lot of the players now, like with me being out for so long, that none of them were my teammates. Not that I don't support them, but it's like it was really cool the first few years to see guys that I played with or guys that I know from other schools get drafted and things like that. So now I would say I tune in a little bit to the first day, but the next couple days I kind of just waiting to see what happens in the next couple weeks to see which guys show up and just excited to get to work with them.
Has there ever been a moment where either, a rookie or even another player from another team has been like, "Oh shit, man, you're Terrell Burgess. This is awesome." Like has that ever hit? Has it gotten a little goofy where you're just like, "Bro, we're teammates now. Chill."
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a moment like that, but I definitely have had moments where I've met people that have played with me like with my character on Madden, and they're
Oh,
like, "Oh yeah," like because I think it was like either 2020 or 2021, one of the years. Like I had like a Madden Ultimate Team card that was pretty good, so a lot of people used to tell me that like I was on the video game like a month ago, and I had met some kid, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I used to play with you on Madden." So it's a lot of things like that and stuff like that, but. Yeah, so it's cool, but I think that yeah, you get right back into it and you just understand that we're all here for the same reason and we're ready to get to work.
no, I love this, man. This is awesome, especially playing in the Superdome, dude. The first time that you actually got to play in a Saints uniform, man, what did that feel like? Especially with how historic
Ooh.
the city of New Orleans is.
It was actually amazing. I think that was actually so playing here last season was my first time actually even playing in New Orleans. I had never played here like for an away game or anything like that. So being able to play here, knowing how much history there is here, with Katrina and like the Super Bowl and what was it, '09 or '10 or 10? I
Yeah,
think it was '09. But like knowing the history they have here with the team and things like that, it was truly amazing. It gets really loud here, and I'm just excited to get back in there and to make the fans proud this year.
that's awesome, man. Well, as we begin to wind down, man, like I said, I didn't want to take up too much of your time, brother. You know, what is something that you could say to I hate it being this corny, but to anybody
Oh,
in
good.
life, dog, what is something that you could say to where you're like, hey man, just go for it?
Hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, go for it is a great way to put it because I think there's a lot of people that preach that all the time because I think a lot of times people are either afraid of failure or you're scared of what could not happen. But I think you should always you just kind of flip it and change it to like the glass being half full. Like what could happen if I do this? You know what I mean? What are the positives that can come out of this and things like that? And one of my coaches in college used to always say to give more in value than you can receive in payment. So just always exceed expectations and just go for it because you're never going to regret doing something and having it come out on the right side. You're always going to regret not doing something and wondering what if could have happened, if that makes sense, or what could have happened.
I agree. Do you have any special links or anything that you are currently pushing out for my viewers so that they can go check out?
I don't have any special links right now. I would just say tune into the Saints this year. You know, we're planning to have a good year. You know, we're gonna work hard to make sure that that nasty taste in our mouths that we had last season doesn't happen again, and we're gonna try and make a run.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this was my conversation with one Terrell Burgess. Thank you again, brother. I really do appreciate this. And we will see each and every one of you in our next adventure. Bye, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was this week's interview. Obviously, you had to have loved it because you stayed towards the end, and we really appreciate that. But please hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, even share. Helps me and helps my guests. And if you want to stay here a little bit longer, we have previous weeks where we interviewed some of the most best people on this planet. Plus, you can head over to the Crash Pad where you can see me, Erebus V, and It's Bacon just mark out on some wrestling, whether you want to get into wrestling or already been a fan for years. Come and see our reactions. You never know what you're going to get.